again, this is Mike Lodge. I'm glad that you have joined me. I am the business advisor, and this is my podcast. But I guess I have to start all over and say this, okay? Let me get my script. Hi, I'm Michael Lodge. My pronouns are he, him, his. And I am a man sitting in my office wearing a red shirt. I guess that does it, right? Am I now politically correct? I want to be politically correct for everybody in this world that listens to my podcast, so now you know who I am. I'm not going to go change my red shirt because I'm just not, okay? But, hey, that's who I am. This is absolutely nutso. I cannot believe that I was watching this stupid video of a stupid vice president who's sitting there and stating this. Doesn't she understand how stupid she is? We know who she is. We can see her. Why do I need to know her pronoun? I don't need to know that. My gosh, I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we are living through some very stupid times with some very stupid people. And listen, okay, this morning the GDP went down. Consecutively, we have gone down month after month after month. And nobody wants to say, okay, we have a recession going on in the real estate market. We have inflation that has flooded the nation for over many, many months. Ever since over a year ago, we've had inflation growing and growing and growing. We have had months and months of economic situations that has damaged the American people. And yet the White House, the Federal Reserve Chairman, all say, no, we're not in recession, as the GDP drops again. We have some stupid people. I don't know where we're getting these people. We are hiring the wrong people for these jobs because they have no experience in business and they have no experience in leadership. We have been engulfed by people that are making these stupid statements on inflation, on recession, and everything else, and they have no hands-on experience on how to create jobs and how to manage the finances of companies. They have no idea of anything that has to do with the nitty-gritty part of living in this nation. They have grown up. Things have been taken care of for them. Look at Biden. Biden has been in the White House. He's been in the vice president's mansion. He has been taken care of by his son. He has been taken care of, and he hasn't had to pay really for anything because when he lived in the vice president's mansion, everything was taken care of. Live in the White House, everything is taken care of. Wants a hamburger, he just calls down to the chef and up it comes. And we pay for it. We, the American people, pay for that president to be sitting in that office making really bad decisions. Ladies, gentlemen, we are in a recession. We've been in a recession for months. I keep telling you this. When our GDP goes down, when real estate is in a recession of itself, we changed price. The real estate market changed over 9% in 1 month. Downward, not upward, downward. Prices are going down. Inventory is up. Builders are having a problem getting rid of their stuff. They're trying to give away stuff now, incentives to buy, but no one's buying. Interest rates are going up, and as of yesterday, the Federal Reserve raised their interest rates. That means that real estate rates are now going to go up. Ladies, gentlemen, come on. We are in a recession, and we have got to live as if we are in a recession. If you're going to listen to the White House, you're listening to the wrong people. If you're going to listen to the Federal Reserve, you're listening to the wrong people because they acted so slowly to even address inflation, which has now led into recession. What is the next step from recession? A depression. And we may already be in a depression. I don't know. I think we're just in the downward turn of a recession at the moment. And we've been that way for a long time. But the next step is depression. How far are we going to go? Now, the president is pushing his Build Back Better thing. Do you know that thing is loaded with a bunch of spending and also with a bunch of taxes? Now they have a bill to subsidize the chip industry. What is this nation's capital thinking of? What are the politicians thinking of? This is going to raise inflation even more. Listen, when under the Build Back Better plan, or whatever you want to call it, the nonsense bullcrap, the problem is that there's a lot of taxes in there on business. What happens when businesses get taxed higher? It gets passed on to you. It gets passed on to me. We have to pay that tax increase. But politicians don't care. They have no idea what they're doing. They have no even clue of how to stimulate this economy to get it moving in a better direction than what we're going at the moment. We can no longer listen to these people. We have got to take control of this. We have got to get these people out of office because they are destroying our nation day by day by day. And maybe that's their intended goal, to destroy this nation. I don't know. But if Congress is going to pass more laws that is going to increase taxes on businesses and spend more money on stupid nonsense, billions of dollars, we have a government that's out of control. And it's time that you and I, as consumers, as American citizens, as taxpayers, we start telling these guys, stop it. Because we're not going to take it any longer. We have got to stop the spending. All the major economists have always said, when government spends, it creates inflation. That has been the rule, and it's the rule that's happening right now. The more government spends, the higher the inflation. The more money that they give away, it creates more inflation. The more money that they print creates more inflation. Prices go up, everything goes up, taxes go up. The pass-throughs to us on those taxes come to us as consumers. We can no longer have a government that's out of control on their spending. This has got to stop. We have got to start pounding these members of Congress and Senate to tell them, stop spending money. Because what they're doing is creating the economic situation to become even worse, to become more stressful on the American people. For some reason, we have individuals in the White House that have never been out in the public sector and have created work, created jobs or anything. They don't know how to measure that because they've never experienced it. These are academia people who just look at numbers, but they don't look at the experience of what's happening out in the real world, in small businesses, in the hiring policies, in the practices, and on the cooling down of hiring, and on individuals who are saying, okay, we're going to have to lay you off because we can no longer afford to have this many people on our payroll. They've never experienced this. They've never lived through it. All that they've done is look at numbers and data and stuff like that. But data is important, but it's also the experience level of what's happening out there in the real world. You see, when you go to the White House or when you go to Washington, D.C., you're kind of like in a bubble. And all this bubble has in it is not real life. There's not one speck of real life in that bubble in Washington, D.C. All there is politics. And that politics is so corrupt and so diversive that it shuts down politicians' eyes. Once they enter into that bubble, they no longer see you and me. What they see is the power that they think they're going to have. The possibility of becoming president or vice president one day. The possibility of having all that power and all those committees. And as they're living in that political bubble of Washington, D.C., and they're not living within the real world, and they only go out and talk to their constituents every once in a while, And those few moments does no good, because their mind is still stuck in that political bubble. So when it comes to the economy, they don't know how to react to it. Because when you get into that bubble of Washington, D.C., that's all that they know. That's all that they hear. It's all the games that they know how to play. It's all the power struggles that they maneuver and manipulate. But when it comes to representing us, they forget about us. And they have forgotten what real life is all about. The individuals in the White House are so out of touch with the American people that they do not know how to run an economy. They don't know how to stimulate an economy. They don't know how to build up a nation. Instead, what they're doing is tearing down the nation because of all of their policies that are anti-business and anti-money and anti-everything else. And that's where we are at the moment. We have stupid politicians who are so power hungry and greedy that they don't care if they spend more money, of the taxpayers' money. That will later on affect the American public's personal finances because of inflation. So I want to remind you of this. We went through inflation, you and I. We're now into a recession. The next step is depression. That means that we have got to do our duties as Americans to stop these politicians, because they can no longer do that much damage to the American people. That bubble has got to be popped there in Washington, D.C. A strong message has got to be sent to those politicians that enough is enough. The games they're playing with American taxpayer money has got to stop. It's got to be put on pause. If you want to use a Democratic term, got to put it on pause. Push the red button. Let's reset. I'm talking in Democratic terms now because that's how they talk. In order for us to get a grip on recession and not go into a depression, we have got to get control of Washington, D.C. That's the only way we can do it. This recession is going to last quite a long time. 23, 24. Can we live that way much longer? I don't think we can. You guys are struggling out there. I know, because I hear from you. I get emails. I get, I get text messages. I get all of this stuff saying I am not able to survive any much longer. My credit cards are maxed out. So there we have it. We're in a recession. GDP is down again. We have had month after month after month after month of bad economic numbers that have affected us. I don't care what Wall Street says. I don't care what the president says anymore, because he's lied. The Federal Reserve has done such a piss-poor job of managing this inflation by acting so slowly. I don't believe them anymore. I have no faith in them. But I do have faith in the American people. Listen, if you want to have more access to me, go to www.lodge-co.com. Again, that's www.lodge-co.com. I'll talk with you soon. God bless. Bye-bye.